Hello, greetings. I am back. So I'm putting together a small node.js utility to create random exercise um, segments out of just picking a couple random exercise videos out of a bigger pool of videos. I just got that running, so I have a little tool here, pick video. Uh, Computer's being a little laggy, but it'll come back to me in just a second. I'm just not using it right. So this will pick some random videos. Please ignore the experimental warning. But it picks a couple of the various videos from this folder, um, and it ignores it's using a glob, so it's ignoring everything but MP4 and AVI and MKV videos. So that's part one. So now we have a random selection of videos. So today, if I were to pick some random, right now, were to pick some videos to watch for myself, I would get back and biceps, some kempo, and some shoulders and arms. It's kind of the like to talk about what would be happening right now. And then so part two is I don't actually want to go through all of these videos. I'm really just looking for a way to pick a couple random things and then to mix up and get a little selection out of a couple different things and pack them into like little segments. So I'm really looking for like a 10-minute or less mini session that I can kind of like hit button and kind of get some random selection out of this thing. So I really see this as two stages of first picking some videos, so having a set of videos that I'm kind of working with, and then getting a random selection of chapters out of those videos. It's kind of a separate part two. So I have part one, picking videos. Part two is now picking some chapters. So I have don't have any start on that. Just have this pick chapter. Here's the pick video code that I just wrote in the last program. It's really pretty short. We get some candidates with a glob utility. I ended up using a fast glob as a way to ask for find me files that match this glob pattern. So this will give me the MKVs, the AVIs, the MP4s, and the current directory. Um, that could be smarter. I could make that a little bit fancier, try and make like glob parameters that get passed into pick videos, or just allow it to have like standard input that is paths that it can pick from, and then when standard input closes, there's a lot of ways I could make it more fancy and give it more control, more configurability. This is a super simple, super hard-coded path, but it's really like all I need to be able to kind of go to a directory and then start being able to use this tool to be able to select things out. So uh, it we're getting the candidates, the different files that might match, and then we're just going and making a bunch of picks from those candidates. So as long as there's picks remaining, we make a random pick number based off of something random from inside the candidate length list. We add that selection. Let's make this a little bit. Actually, before I do that, let's go make a commit. And I think package.js looks okay. Yeah. Maybe we can add a readme to a description to it. Okay. Mm, Everything's a little cramped. Just trying to pick video from 202. This is the right. make that a little smaller, and then I think we can get to work. So in this case, I think what I actually want to do is let's read all of the lines out of standard in. And it should be simple. I could rely on something fancier, but let's just make a util. Let's just pick something off the shelf. This is not worth doing. Semi so-so. I do kind of like having a little more configurability. I have my own kind of like general utility library. This is really assuming that it knows what process is and how to get standard in. Let's actually check if I have lines in my utility. No. Oh. Yeah, see, I already have a way to... And it's asynchronous, which I don't need, but it's kind of cool. I don't really... This is getting overblown, but just in the name of using my own utilities, I guess I am going to go with... This is more complexity than is needed, but... And we'll make this proper JavaScript. I think it's proper JavaScript. Gets does not have get. I'm actually looking for get, which has gets. And so this is a promise. Good, good. Cool. So now we're getting back an asynchronous generator. Let's start making a real function. So now we're expecting a parameter lines. Let's kind of do what we did before. I don't really, this is still not quite right. And I think this will really get key ops. Yeah, so we're passing in we're asking for a key from the options, and then we're passing in all the options that we want to provide to it. So this is kind of a semi-extensible way for me to be able to. What I like about this tool is that everything is kind of drawing from other pieces of config. So lines is actually asking for standard in, and standard in is here asking for process, and you can kind of like replumb and provide intermediary things. So I could provide a different implementation of lines, I could provide a different implementation of standard in, and there's kind of a inversion of, well, I don't know if it's quite an inversion of control, but there's a set API to be able to kind of say where these sources come from, and the configs are just kind of defaults that are overridable and extendable. But the net is that now opt could have either a standard in it, it could have a process in it, it could have lines in it, and we'd still be able to get back this lines. But we're actually going to wait it to actually get the real generator, and then what we're getting back is we're going to be getting back the videos. And we're going to need to be testing this pretty soon. So there's one thing we need to do. Um, cool. Okay, so pick video. Oh, because I'm not in the right. So pick video, and then we should be able to put this to pick uh, pick chapters, but pick chapters isn't doing pick chapters, pick chapter, pick chapter, but pick chapter isn't doing anything right yet. So for now, let's just make sure that everything is coming out. Let's make sure we're getting chapters out. So I'm shadowing is main, which I do not like. I like not having variables get redefined, but this is good enough. We'll close that line. This is so funky, I just don't even know what to do with you. These are good things that would ultimately be better to use this Voodoo opt framework in, but I'm going to leave them for now. But I do want to extract a main. So now you can call main deliberately if you want to, and everything's going to be great. Didn't quite get that right. Yep. And we'll return these videos again. So this is just kind of weird. I don't know why anyone would want to reuse this main, which is just going to go run a very basic pick videos. Passing through options, logging it, and then carrying on. It's basically just doing pick videos, but logging it at the end. But whatever. It's a main implementation. It's a piece of code. Let's make it available. I do want to add export default pick videos, just because I like having pick video, pick video. So let's make everything named consistently. Okay, so that file looks good right now. Still picking a video from it. I kind of normalized it a little bit. I guess I could. One thing, this is like really an async thing, and I'm kind of lying about it. This actually is just more expressive and easier to read, and this should still run. Oh, I need to await it. Yeah, okay, cool. So main right now is gonna kind of do the same thing. I'm just gonna, for now, it's just gonna be actually it's gonna do really the same thing. I use JSON.stringify because I really like things to be actual JSON, whereas console.log is kind of its own format that isn't necessarily going to work with other tools. Cool, so now we have a way, now when we run, so pick chapter is going to, pick video, pick chapter. So I was expecting output. Oh, I'm out of videos. I don't even see where videos is getting defined. That should have been an error. I don't think it's running. Oh, you know what I'm not doing? What I'm not doing is I'm not failing if I try and run isMain with no output, with no input coming into it. Whoa, look at that. Neato. So we're not picking any chapters yet, but we are seeing lines and we are seeing videos. So the real thing now, we want to gather these videos that are coming back. Sorry, we don't want to gather the videos. We want to gather chapters of the videos. And I guess my tendency is that I think that let's just make. So I just kind of want to build a big bulk object that. So kind of, well, no, I'm going to be overloading things. Outputs. Info is such a generic name, but so be it. Okay, so this is going to be the kind of fun part of what this file is actually going to do. The thing is, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do to make it go right now. I think what I want is this tool ffprobe, which I should. If not, no big deal. Okay, I have ffprobe. It's part of the ffmpeg suite media prober. Gathers information from multimedia streams and prints it in human and machine readable fashion. So there's a bunch of node.js libraries that wrap this bad boy, and this is going to be the thing that gives me the chapter information outside of the chapter information for each of these files that are coming into it. So part one is just going to be picking one of these libraries. Popularity, quality, maintenance. So quality, I don't think I really have a great quality. I don't know. I guess my main interest is I want to see some popularity. I want to see some maintenance. I want to see it relatively recently updated. I'm just going to open a bunch of these. This is like classic. This is the heart of programming, is figuring out what tools to depend on, what to rely on. Um, so far I've opened things that are all less than a year old. And all have a little bit of some level of popularity. And I think we're pretty good here with these candidates that I've just opened. Node FF probe. Do I have to do this installer? So it wants to know ffprobe's path, perhaps, but maybe that's just when it's not on the bin, when it's not already in your path. Path, then probe data, console log probe data. And so here's some example output, streams, disposition, chapters, format. So that looks like a super simple candidate. This name is a little funky to me, and the docs are not where they need to be for me to be cool with that. This had how many downloads? Like 2,000, 26,000, 2,600, 1,400. This one, 144. He's got a comparison. Here's why you should use this. Zero dependency, promise-based API. Relatively up to date. None. 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 So node FF probe is no longer totally unmaintained, which is good, because I saw 5 months ago it was released. Is that still happening? Is that a one-off thing? 3.0.0. That is a little worry-making. FF probe. Last publish. So FF probe is too many. FFmpeg probe. This is still in the running. I think this is like the same sort of. I'm not expecting anything really different from. I mean, why is he including both of these? Wrapper around FF probe a year ago. I mean, this looks okay, but I'm leaning towards this here node probe, other than. So there's updates now happening, but they're big updates, which makes me nervous. You look okay, but I just don't really want to. I mean, and your API looks right. All these APIs look just fine. You look just fine as well. So what else? Custom fprobe path, promise API. This is fprobe client. Custom fprobe path. I don't need a custom path, but I think this one has it. Yeah, this one has a custom path now. Show format. I don't know what that does, but Node fprobe does have it. Electron support. Oof. Why? What? Um, let's just take a quick look at versions, see if this thing really is getting regular updates. If it's getting semi-regular updates still, I'll go with this. Otherwise, I'm just going to hang back on node.ff probe. This is like we're at the level where like everything is basically what I really need to do if I really cared and was making a longer term decision would be go look at the source more heavily. I'm not expecting to find anything super new exciting. So I like this because it's like still, this looks like active maintenance. So I guess I am going to use this, but like I feel like whatever I pick is going to be perfectly fine. So FF probe client, in you go. Um, so let's do this a little different. Let's just I didn't see that as a field, so uh, hello. Uh, so now let's so I'm not resolving it yet, so this is all going to start asynchronously. Um, oh, I need to await it. So this should give us all the chapters if everything runs right. All right. It took a little bit of time, but that seemed to ran. That seemed to run. Okay, so this video is duplicate because I get format file name. Um, there's a couple streams. So not all of these videos do have chapters, is the other complication. But I was kind of expecting some of them to have. I'm not sure whether chapters is just further embedded within or whether this particular utility is just not giving me back all the data that it could be giving me. So let's make a little more space for this. Let's rerun this. So again, I'm only picking 3 each time. So stream, some codec information, some disposition, a bunch of random media information, format, this format, but I'm not seeing chapters, which for some of these is a thing, if not all of them. And I just don't remember off the top of my head which actually have chapters, so that makes it a little bit more complicated. But I'm starting to feel like my first inclination is just to I think it's this guy. I think this guy's not giving me. Yeah, so its example doesn't have any chapter stuff in it. So let's just switch over to node.ff probe, which definitely showed chapters. And I believe it too is promise-based, so this should really be like, I think, a total drop-in. Yeah, probe track, then probe data. I still type save, even though that is totally superfluous now. Hey, this is all pretty delicate up here. You are just hanging out there. I'm not going to remove the old one from node package from package.json yet. And this should be, we'll just try this new library, which should be a drop-in replacement. Hey, look at that. So right away, chapters. No chapters, no chapters, no chapters, no chapters. I'm pretty sure some of these have chapters. Not these, but like I'm pretty sure that something in this. Yes, yes. Who are you? Look at this. This is chapters. This is what I actually want. This is great. Okay, so I've used Node ffprobe to get the multimedia information out of each of these files, and I have found at least one of these files. Does this have is there a file name? There's still a file name. Okay, cool. I don't need to do that. Okay. I mean, I don't need this. And this is pap. So from now, I'm just going to I'm going to hang out in this directory because I think I can do most of my work here. And all I need to do is echo sort exercise videos P lower, and I think I can pipe that into pick chapter, and it should run from here. So now we see the file names, like the full file name path. Cool. So now I've got a bunch of chapters coming in amongst this other data getting collected in this results file. We're going to rename pick chapter to list chapters. And then we're going to make a real pick chapters that's going to call that. I'm calling it plural this time. So right away, I'm like not happy with this opt being n. Videos. Okay, so now videos is a number count that's defaulting to 3. And what we're going to look for here is, well, first let's record what the path is inside of one of these entries. Yeah, chapters. Whoa, yeah. So stream So I think it's just top level. Yeah. Okay. It's just dot chapters outside of each result. So I'm gonna ignore the fact that there's like intro and exit chapters. I'm just gonna we'll just do a random pick of chapters out of all of these. So excuse me. So I could just find the total. I could build like some sort of data structure with like the links in it, and kind of like pick backwards out of these segment things. Um, yeah, I mean, just do what you got. Do what's in front of you. And I'd like to be able to look up Reduce on my phone. Um, I think I can. I thought Node might autocomplete the helpers for that for me. Maybe Chrome will. Yeah, it's not showing me what the close these other tabs. These are good. So we're rounding it up here. We've picked our random videos. We're about to pick our chapters. This isn't going to be the most glorious of chapter picking code, but I think it will suffice. And then kind of the last, I'm not sure how far I want to dive into actually making these play tonight. That's going to be a little bit more of an interesting task. I think whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, I don't have a good way to send you into OPSEC mode, so just hold on with me for a second. Still not sure where my phone is. It hopefully is not outside in the rain. It's water resistant, but not to my pleasure. Um, I'm not quite set up to actually view anything over there, and I generally like to do a lot of my web reference material lookup on a separate device. It just helps me keep attention minimized, like lets my screen space be dedicated to the task it's dedicated for, and I usually just have enough screens around. So uh, I'm just waiting for array prototype reduce to load. The screen is awfully dusty. This has been hanging out in storage for quite a while, but I brought it back out a week ago. All right, so here's the excitement that we've been waiting for. We are going to get back the reducer, which has the accumulator and the current value. Um, and we're passing in 0, and we're just going to do results. So for each result, we're just going to cur.chapters.length plus the accumulated plus the excuse me. So we're just going to call these probes since they're still in the probing process. And then chapters will be free. And then chapter just needs to be renamed as per the other rename that we did. And, oh, a little short. Running, I think. Okay, so we're running pig chapters, but pig chapters doesn't have anything. I guess I can move this into here. So we're overloading opt with list chapters. Chapters is either going to be opt.chapters if there already is a chapters, or wait, opt.list. So we're going to move the await further out. So we're either going to have that opt chapter object. Let me finish this. So we're going to await either an opt chapters, probes. So these two lines could be collapsed, but I kind of just like having the thing that can have console log dropped in the middle between them. So in this case, now we can run pick chapters, and we can either provide a probes with all the probe data, and let's call that pro. Oh, now I've done it. Do we need to? I mean, I don't need the wait really. I can just. Yeah, I mean, it does look cleaner this way, but I found the debuggability to be a little bit more frustrating in trying to intercept and figure out what's happening if you're trying to capture. Yeah, I don't like results though. Results is not a pretty word, but I'm going to leave it in that long form. But either way, so const probes, we're trying to get back probes. So we're either going to run we either are expecting to have probes already passed to us, somebody else has already made it, or we're going to run probe. And if they want to provide us the probe function, they can provide us the probe function too. But otherwise, we're going to use this probe. Um, um, and so this should this should run, and it should try to refactor less things at a time. Probes count? I mean, count's okay. Wow. Were there 48? Wow. Okay. There's 48 different chapters in this one. I mean, these are exercise videos, so it's a lot of short chapters. But that's still, wow. Uh, so this is a little rough. This time base, that's kind of harsh. I'm a little afraid of that. Uh, excuse me. There's the start time, end time. That looks way nicer. Uh, um, but we have a count now. I've only counted one thing. I guess what we can do to count this is, let's make sure this is working by, and I'm not sure if my skills are up to par here. Okay, so echo-n, papel, new line, papel. Okay, so that's coming out as 2 lines. Cool. And then, so I'm just feeding the same movie into both, so now we see the count double to 96. So this gives me confidence that this probes are both running on every single input that's passed them, and it gives me faith that count is properly pulling together the lengths of the various chapters. And we're just going to take the same chapter, same tactic. Is that what I want to do? So part of me really wants to give each video, like, to make a pick be like, pick a random video, and then from a random video, pick a random chapter. That's what a random pick is, rather than just like lay up all the chapters and pick random chapters out of the total list of chapters. Because I feel like some of these videos are going to have a lot of chapters, and some aren't going to have as many chapters. Um, but like I think that's kind of okay too. Like I think that kind of balances out the distribution. The longer ones, the ones with less chapters, are going to be longer videos, and should like statistically that balances out. That it would kind of give equal airtime. Um, I guess for now, let's just make a pick linear, like out of the total linear set. Let's not make a multi-level picking strategy. gonna have to look up for each because I'm doing. I mean, sorry. What am I trying to do? I want to make picks an array that has values, and the values are going to be a random pick from the total group set. But now this would make me have to like keep recalculating this. Um, which is not the worst thing, but I don't think this is quite in my buffer, but maybe it will be. Here we go. Cool. Stream chapters format file name, all lowercase. So file name, and then chapter is going to be chapters be going to be what I get, what I is the pick from it. Okay, this doesn't make sense, does it? I'm like trying to pick too much information. Probes pick dot like I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just make the picks actually happen. But so we've got a bunch of different probes, a bunch of different files that are each going to have chapters. And while it's greater than so I can make this a for loop. I don't think this needs to do anything else, because this just keeps advancing video. Well, I kind of need video to be outside. Uh, and so then what we're left with at the end is video, and then the chapter is going to be the video. No, it's just going to be, okay, so what I need to be doing in here is pick minus equals. I need to subtract this video. This isn't the most elegant. Yeah, this for loop's a little crufty, so let's just restructure this. I see. Okay, I think that's more or less right. I mean, I think that's right. So we have the total chapters that we're going to be asking for out of that a random chapter out of the total count of all chapters. We're going to start at the first video, and then while chapter is greater than the current video.chapters.length, remove this many from chapters, like advance to the next video and count that many chapters as credit that we've just advanced past into chapter. So video.chapters.length is going to be how many forward we're going to be moving, and then we're going to move forward past that video and its chapters and move to the next one. And then we're going to return the video and the chapter, which should be the remainder. And I guess I want I. Let's put I in there, even though that is hideous. And then so at the very end, I mean, for now, not quite A. Funky. Not even calling pick chapter. Right, so I have a bunch of empty lines now. I'm trying to use for each to fill these empty lines. I don't care about the value. I do care about the index. And then the pix is the output array. equals ops.pick chapter, but there is no picked chapter. Well, that's interesting. Because for each doesn't do anything if it's null. Cool. Okay. Sweet. Yeah. So we're filling up our picks here. We can see that because we're going from so at this value I is 3 and we've got 3 things, and then we uh, now we're inside of pick chapter and we're at 63, 63, but we should be having to iterate again. So that's actually not quite right. That doesn't seem right. This doesn't need to be async, does it? This is all synchronous. But I don't think we're iterating quite. I think there's something wrong still with pick chapters. Yes, yes. You're very long. uh, you're very long. Who's even logging you? Why are you logging so much? More? Oh my goodness. I'm logging video, aren't I? Chapter. Chapter I. I don't think it's you. I don't see who's doing all this logging. Is it you? It's probably you. Yeah. Okay. So why are picks so big? Picks is just supposed to be I, video, and chapter, which should all be... Oh, video is the full video. Okay. Excuse? Oh. Okay. Get rid of this head. Hmm. It's a little hard to read where the lines, what's happening here. So 86 comes in, and then chapter goes down. So I actually kind of think this might be okay. So give a final. Yeah, because see, okay. Yeah, this looks okay. 49, what a classic example. So the first, so it's a 48 chapter thing, and we're asking for the 49th. So I really hope I'm not inviting an off by 1 error here. I feel like there could well be an off by No, because chapter 0 is going to be chapter 0 on the first length 48 one. So yeah, okay, this is good. If it was 48, it would be 0. If we go to test 48, what's 48 going to look like? Chapter is greater than or equal to, come in and do it again. Okay, cool. So I have confidence that we're picking a chapter out of the full set of chapters. When we run this now, so we only got one from the second file. One, one, one. Okay, good. Just something to look a little bit of statistical distribution. So we're passing in the same file both times, so that's expected. The file name's the same. I is just which file it is. So this is kind of a little ugly, but to reconstitute this is a little bit ugly, but this does the thing. So this is really what I was okay, so I think it's failing. I think chapters isn't always available. I've been picking the same file that always has chapters, but this doesn't always have chapters. Pick video. There's no videos in here. So I could make this perhaps die cleaner, but it picked it again. Okay, so I was just putting some logging output in there. Cool. So, let's do a couple things. Let's pick more videos. So now we're going to pick 6 videos, and then when we're doing count, let's be more verbose so that we can figure out some debugging. Cool. Okay. This looks good. We asked for 6. We got 3 that had chapters, and then when we went to results, and so the first one had a significant amount more, but still, like, these are not too far behind. And so, then when we went to picks, we saw a kind of a distribution 0, 1, 0, file 5. So we got at least one from everybody. File number 5. Yeah, so we got at least one from everybody. So now we're picking a video and we're picking chapters. So that was the goal here. That was the main effort. I think the next, so from this, there's kind of a next step of creating a little scripting system to be able to go tell a media player to go play this, and then at the I don't think there's a good way to build playlists that specifically reference the different chapters. So I think the next trick is going to be actually adding a little timer that's running in the background and going and telling the media player jump to this next other place once you're done with that. So that'll be a tool to give me a random assortment of exercise videos. I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty happy with progress. Let's do a check-in real quick. One console, commented out console. One console. Yep. Too many dependencies. We're going with node, ffprobe. We're not using get standard in, but we are using voodoo opt. That's too many videos. Gonna do another pass through this. Oops. Cool. Some more open source code for you. We've wrote it, we shipped it. A little bit more work, and hopefully at least one of us will be exercising to it. That was the goal for the night. I hope you had fun. I hope this was cool. I'll be back and we'll see what's next in store for some coding. I might try and make the media player for this sometime, and I do want to get back to writing the contact tracking Bluetooth specification work. I have some web front end code to write to start listening for those contact tracing Bluetooth beacons. So hopefully that I think the code for that's going to go pretty easily. Trying to make sure my infrastructure is in an okay place. I think I might need to be in an origin trial to try some of it. So that's going to be exciting, aka most of my time. I might do some groundwork on that ahead of time, perhaps. But yeah, this has been a fun night. I will talk to you later. Bye. Yes. Goodbye.